Amnesia. What a terrible thing to have happen. Memory loss from whole swaths of life, the good and the bad. Imagine losing some very specific feelings of nostalgia, or forgetting the name of your first pet, let alone your family. Now, imagine that effect striking almost 90% of your life, and you will have an idea of what today's story is about. For Dorian the Dazed is just that man, save for 2 very specific weeks of his life that he can recall. So lend me an ear, and let me tell you all about it. Or at least as much as Dorian can remember. Most unfortunate, as I said before, Dorian only remembers about 2 weeks worth of his life, up until this point. He doesn't know how he came to find his way to the Gathering Stone, why he is here, or what his purpose is. Now, from what we have been able to piece together, he is a druid. And not just a druid, but one of the Flame. The Circle of Firestorm, I believe they are called. Very interesting indeed, as there isn't much known to the outside world of their practices. Which brings us to the very crux of Dorian's tale, as it just so happens that sadly, or remarkably, depending on how you look at it, those 2 very important weeks that he remembers are the first 2 weeks of his waking life in this realm. Foggy as though it may be, he told me that on the night of his birth, a sweltering heat was all-encompassing as he emerged, surrounded by blazing structures of fire. The tiny embers and sparks that drifted upwards coalesced with the millions of stars in the sky above, save for the blood-red moon marking his midnight release. But it wasn't just his to savor alone. In fact, there were 5 other births within that fire-embraced circle that night. He couldn't recall any crying, or sounds of any kind. But he could sense all of his peers, and remembered being laid on a blanket, forming another smaller circle with the other children. And there they slept, warm, encircled by the blazing heat. In the morning, the sky shone red with burning ochre clouds as his mother came into view. Dark flowing hair, bright fierce eyes, and a loving, proud gaze that reassured him before this next ritual began. For Dorian heard muffled sounds of singing or chanting, and caught glimpses of the other mothers who, like his own, were holding their hands to their chest. With eyes closed, they were suddenly set ablaze. But no heat was emanating, nor clothes burning. They appeared to be enveloped by the flames, as opposed to actually on fire. Then, each parent in turn set their hands out. Looking up at his mother, he saw a marking on her palm, as she lowered it to his chest. A gentle, almost itchy feeling was growing at the spot where she rested her hand. After a moment, sure enough, the same mark that was upon her palm had now been etched upon his skin, just above his heart, and it's still there today. Now, from here up until his last fateful day of memory, there wasn't much else that happened, save for one other incident, which we will get into in just a moment. As Dorian spent much of his time either at his mother's chest or laying with the 5 other newborns. He cherishes these memories, no matter how small or inconsequential they may be, not only because it's currently all he has to hold on to for who he is, but also because his last recollection is of the camp being attacked by a massive warband of hobgoblins. And this is where things get a little hazy, then altogether lost. As he remembers the ground trembling, Many muffled yells, growls, screams, and shouting. Huge clouds of dust, fireballs, flashes of lights, all manner of fighting. And through all this, his mother held him close, while at the same time she... well... while what? Well, that's it. Yeah? Sadly, folks, that's all she wrote for Dorian's tale. So far. Luckily, he's here now, at the Gathering Stone. And he plans on sticking around for a while to help me with the chickens, maintaining the camp, and hopefully, meeting someone that can help restore what has been lost to him. That's it for this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed this Tale of the Lost. Thanks for watching, and be sure to come back next week for new characters, stories, and illustrations. Farewell for now.